This is a big, cheap Dogecoin miner that you've probably never heard of and is new, yet it has not the best efficiency. Hey, I'm Vosk. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. You're out here on my mining farm where I'm chasing passive income dreams. Right now I'm stealing space from HQ. It's supposed to be our warehouse, workshop, studio, not the mining building. Working on expanding it, actively with pulling in more power, more mining buildings and stuff like that. But everything's a process. I just got in the iBeLink BM-L3. So I sourced this from ASIC Marketplace. They're a great ASIC seller. With them, you can buy all kinds of miners, Dogecoin miners, the latest and greatest, previous gen miners, and everything in between. Get it shipped pretty quickly. I didn't have to pay any tariffs on this order, so I love that. When I order directly from a big manufacturer like, say, Bitmain, I get hit with a 30% tariff bill, which eats into my ROI, right? My break-even time, my profits, big time. So far, duties and stuff like that, we've always been good to go with them. This miner, it kind of came out of nowhere, and honestly, the specs are not particularly good. If Doge went to its average price that it was at last year, this would be in the red for most people. But Doge has been pumping pretty seriously, and it's been merge mined with Litecoin and Bells and Luckycoin and Junkcoin and Pepe network and a bunch of other cryptocurrencies that are vastly increasing the mining profitability. So this is interesting, this is weird. This is like a basically cheap bull run miner. If prices pull back big time in a year or two, or even less, of course, this isn't gonna be a good time. But hey, let's unbox it, check it out. Initial impression, heavy. This thing is dense and I can't cut a straight line. So this is going to be a full-size ASIC miner. That's an application-specific integrated circuit miner. These are purpose-built machines, custom computers, right? So this does come with a power cable, but a useless one. This is what people typically call like the China plug. It's no good for me. Doesn't work here on any outlets that we use. So easy button to get miners out of their boxes. So you can always, be really strong, look cool like the tough guy. You can be a smart guy and flip the thing over. This one's not as, normally the foam's on the top and bottom with miners. This is on the sides. So I just rock it back, pull that foam off, and then I will just, and we're out.
You may notice that VoskCoin uses a digital shovel mini pod on our mining farm. If you want to check out a digital shovel in person, then you should head to Mining Disrupt, March 25th to 27th in Florida, where Digital Shovel will be attending and showcasing their hardware. Link in the video description below to get 20% off your ticket. Thanks to them for sponsoring.
Put that foam in the box. Always keep your miner boxes. You never know when you need to send it off to be repaired. Maybe you send it to a different mining farm, or you just need to transport it. Or of course you could always sell your mining rigs or move them into storage. Shipping miners, making your own box, you're very likely to, even when you think you're good to go, not be good to go. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna ship and it's probably gonna break some fans. And it's just gonna be a pain. And if, like, say you sold your miner to someone new to mining on eBay, they're just gonna try to return that and send you something with a broken fan. It's gonna be a huge headache. It's gonna really suck for you. So find somewhere to put the box. That's the moral of the story. So this custom computer only mines the script mining algorithm, which is Dogecoin. When I slide this, it feels weird. And that's because these iBeLink miners normally have this little foam on the bottom. So just kind of be advised. You don't want to necessarily shred that and rip it off. This uses the old style power supply where we have a C20 connection in there, which is nice. I've got a ton of power cables for that. My preference is actually the 2X-C13 you typically saw on the previous generation of Antminers, not the new style power supply that has the 4-color plug. Model is iBeLink BM-L3 version 1. This works only on 240 voltage, right? 200 voltage plus. Be advised, you cannot plug this into any outlet. It is supposed to use about 3,000 watts. It does not support Wi-Fi or anything like that. We're gonna need to give it an internet connection through this Ethernet port with an Ethernet cable. Switch on the power supply. I love that feature that's way underdone for some reason. I mean, pretty standard issue here. Typical form factor with the iBeLink miners. This is supposed to, right now, since Doge pulled back in price, make like 10 bucks a day. But it's a big energy consumer at about 3,000 watts. Smaller than a lot of current generation miners, like especially like the Energy Hog VoskCoin D1. Make sure to subscribe and to the VoskCoin YouTube channel. We put out videos like every day. This is all I do. I work on the mining farm. I make content, and I've got an incredible team behind me as well. But even more important, I've got the best community in the crypto sphere, especially in the mining game. I'll put that on anything. So check out that video if you want to learn more about that miner. This mines 3.2 gigahash a second of script mining power, right? So not very much. That Volk miner I just got in mines over 15 gigahash a second. The current generation Bitmain Antminer L9s, which are basically the best script miner, Dogecoin miner, Litecoin miners out right now, those do 15, 16, 17 gigahash a second. So this is a huge footprint from literal physical size. As you'll learn, you run out of space in mining farms, depending on how you're deployed, as well as energy footprint. You run out of electricity eventually too. So something to keep in mind. So why is this interesting? Why do I have it? Why is it appealing? Well, it's cheap and it's profitable. And if you're kind of feeling like you're behind the curve, maybe a miner like this is a great way to try to catch up in a bull run, right? You don't want to get caught up with too much FOMO or something like that, right? But here's one of the key takeaways is, especially if you're starting to build at scale, right? You need to hit energy requirements to get better electricity rates. And I'm actually literally dealing with that with this building too. So the rest of my mining farm is basically getting either on or almost on an industrial electricity rate. This one is not, a better commercial rate. And it reduces my cost out here from 10 cents per kilowatt hour to about 7-8 cents per kilowatt hour. And if I pull out 3-phase and pull half a megawatt or more of electricity, I get down to like a flat 7 cents per kilowatt hour cost, right? So just in using enough energy with my buildings out here right now, I can reduce my electric cost by basically 30%. That is huge. That is absolutely massive, very substantial. And so that's what I'm focused on doing. And if I pull out a bunch of electricity and I need a bunch of machines, right, to just get a bunch of energy consumption to get that rate down, but I also obviously want them to be profitable too, that's where something like this really shines. You can get a lot of these for pretty cheap. They earn more than they burn, right? Key factor. And they use a lot of electricity. So if I was like, I need to fill up a megawatt and I want it for this bull run and then we'll see what happens, and I need to pull a lot of juice, I'm looking at a miner like this. And that's what some people don't understand. If you're like a little hobby guy and you don't think of big pictures, it's like, well, why does that miner exist? It sucks. It doesn't suck. It fits a niche within a niche. It has a key purpose. And at the end of the day, if any of these mining rig manufacturers that make these custom computers, these little robotic employees for you, if they have something that they can produce that earns more in passive income mining these cryptocurrency than it burns in electricity, they're gonna make it, they're gonna sell it, and people are gonna buy it. So enough talk. Let's get this thing plugged in.
Few moments later.
Personally, I'm really bullish on Doge mining. I think in this bull cycle, Doge is going to trade not only at $1, but over $1. And it's going to provide a huge passive income opportunity. And I'm kind of looking at it like last call. It's kind of like last call for many miners. It's crazy. I mean, you get the new L9s that are more powerful than this, right? And they're earning like 50 bucks a day. It's crazy. I mean, $50 a day mining a cryptocurrency, it's huge. This traded anywhere. Easy cold storage support. It's just wild. And Bitcoin mining continues to be so competitive, so difficult. And I'm not giving up on Bitcoin mining. Just this week, I hooked up an Antminer S21 XP. There's my S21 Pro. there's my Canon 1566, latest generation Canon Bitcoin miner. So here it is, lugged it up here, the BM-L3. Let's get it hooked up. It's getting so hot in here. I'm running my mini split, but I never put this mini split in here to cool this area. It's not the right move, it's inefficient. But I'm in a situation where I'm running way too much gear for no cooling situation in here. And I pretty much have to hold out and keep all my stuff online until I have my whole power and mining building location situated, right? So just plugged in Ethernet, here's power. So I'll click that over, and it wasn't plugged in on the PDU. Using an Altair mining PDU. I like these, I've always liked these a lot. Dollar for dollar, these are the best solution I've found to run your miners on single phase. Okay, so that's plugged in. Click that over. I forgot to mention, but this does have the LED on the power supply. Big fan of that. Very helpful with diagnosing power supply problems and things like that. The more intel you can get from any and everything is good. It's very good. So that fired up. You can hear it spinning. It's got a different tone to those fans than the other ones. All right, so I use Eero to create a mesh network out here. So I just log into my Eero app here, and then I see a new device. It's the only new device that I've just plugged in. Right, so I'll come in here and I'll label it, you know, for me and my records, BM-L3. Click done. Click save. So I changed the name, right? That way I can easily find it and access it. I only have one of these, so it's pretty easy to know. Like, oh, that's my BM-L3. The end. IP address. I can just hold that and copy. From there, I go to my web browser and punch that in. Let's try iBeLink admin. iBeLink admin, and we're in. So now I click over here to settings, and it breaks up in these settings. I click on resource setting. That's gonna be your mining pool information. I personally would never use via BTC. I found them to have really poor character. Someone I would never trust with my coins and the viability of my mining operation. But you do whatever you want to do. I'm going to use F2 pool here because I get paid out in the vast majority of all those merge mined coins that are profitable, and that's a key piece of mining profitability. So I'll just put my username .worker name BM-L3 there, and then I'll copy this in the backup pool information. Had F2 pool here, so I'll paste that over that, make sure I'm never mining to someone else's address. I'll just leave pool 3 empty for now. Scroll down here and click config. It says information for all 3 must be complete. It says operation successful. When I click confirm, you can hear the miner ramp up over there. I didn't complete the 3rd one for whatever it's worth. To get that mining pool information, that pool config, like on F2 pool, I have the app, and so I just go to the coin in the app, right? So I go to LTC, which is also Doge mining, and then I scroll down, and it gives you the pool server. You can just use Universal if you want. I'm obviously in North America, so I just click over North America, normally click that one, and then I'll just leave like a Universal as my backup. And then normally I put like Europe as my backup, or a different mining pool. It depends, kind of varies by coins and stuff like that. Most important thing here is gonna be finding this worker and now pop up on the mining pool, right? So I just input this information, it's basically rebooting, right? So I click on status and it still says that it's starting. When I click on the dashboard, right, not too much information here in the iBeLink miner. The key information you're going to want, oh, okay, it's popped up now. It's going to be on the status page. This obviously looks better on a computer, but it's quick and easy for me to do this on my phone. Obviously, you would do the same things on a computer that I'm doing here now. It would just be quicker and easier and more clear. You don't have to do weird scrolls like this. If something doesn't fit right, you can always try going landscape and see if that'll get it to populate where you can see it. Anyway, right, miner device. We see my mining pool information there. That's cool. That's what I want to see. This has 4 hash boards in it, right? 4 chains, 216 chips on each. These are not impressive chips. These are not efficient chips. This is not an impressive miner from the performance or efficiency. This is only impressive, really, with its price point. And so I'm gonna let this mine for a couple days, get some results, and then we're gonna pull it up on the computer. We're gonna look at the current prices for these, if they've changed or not. We're gonna look at the mining profitability. We'll look at the ROI numbers and things like that. This is a very interesting miner, depending on your electricity rate and your needs, and of course, your budget. Are there better miners? Absolutely, but maybe not for the money, maybe not for your electricity rate. If you're in a situation where you've got really cheap or like even somehow free power, something like this could be an absolute cash cow for you. Doesn't matter that it's inefficient. All right, let that fire up here for a second, get a quick snapshot of it just on the pool. Pulling a whopping 25 amps between these two. So now we can see based on the status page, it started hashing. That's great. It's not hashing what it's supposed to be yet. That's fine, right? It's just getting warmed up basically, maybe quite literally. We see the hash rate continues to rise there at the top. Kabam! We've hit the mining pool. Remember, number one thing that matters when you're mining is make sure your miner's hitting the mining pool and showing up, and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Because when you mine on a pool, you're mining in a collective here, and you get paid based on your work, your proof of work. And if your miner is not properly reporting its proof of work, you will not be paid for your work appropriately. So it can do whatever it wants to do, but a worst case scenario, you're burning electricity and you're not actually earning that passive income.
I'm disappointed, seriously. This is not performing as well as it's supposed to. My 24-hour hash rate on the mining pool is 2.82 gigahash a second. I'm using F2 pool, no affiliation there, right? You can look at the hash rate chart. Sometimes this does do what it's supposed to do, but many times it doesn't. And to compare this with some other miners coming in at a similar price point, and depending on your point of view, similar performance, like the AlphaPex DG Home 1 we just reviewed and just recently got in, set this up very close to the same time that I set the iBeLink BM-L3 Dogecoin miner up. That DG Home 1, I feel like I'm just saying a bunch of words and numbers, is hitting a 24-hour hash rate of 2.13 gigahash a second per the mining pool. And remember, that's the most important part. That's the figure that your payout or your earnings are based upon. And it is supposed to do 2.1. The iBeLink BM-L3 is supposed to be hashing at 3.2 gigahash a second. Yet, I am hashing significantly lower at 2.82 gigahash a second. I'm missing more than 10% of my hash rate. To grab one of these for under $2,000, if you have a very cheap electricity, this still can absolutely be worth it. But it is disappointing, and it's surprising because my recent iBeLink miners have performed as they're supposed to. iBeLink also has a big habit of releasing a max model shortly after a initial release model. For example, it would be called the iBeLink BM-L3 Max. Anyway, that's the data, right? That reduces our daily mining profitability from what should be closer to $9, closer to $8 a day in Doge, as well as the other coins that are merge mined. To give you some kind of frame and perspective there, that would be mining around 16 Doge a day. And at my electricity rate, this device cost me about $5 a day to run out here on the VoskCoin mining farm.
So hey, I'm Vosk, you're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. This was a big mining rig today, industrial grade, absolutely. But we've also got mini miner reviews. We've been doing some pretty cool work with those, with bid axes and other BTC basically small, cheap, even lottery style Bitcoin mining rigs. Give you the chance to earn just a cool $300,000 or more. Easy $250,000. Well, I shouldn't say easy, but a real shot at $250,000. Crazy. Anyway, check out the videos, check out the channel. Again, I'm Boss. This is our CMO, our Chief Mining Officer here at the VoskCoin YouTube channel. This is our cutie pup. She kickstarted the VoskCoin journey years ago. It was a crazy start, crazy times, and I'm thankful for every day that I have with her. Thankful for every day I have with friends and family. I'm thankful for every day I get to do this stuff. And you know, there's a lot of things you can be upset about in life. Sometimes it's about perspective, reframing everything. So I'm just thankful that I get to make, you know, crypto content, you know, essentially work from home and work on my own mining farm. It's very cool. Very thankful. And I'm gonna keep working hard because of that and many other reasons. I hope you do too. See you later.